everyone, it's Jennifer from Fiberflux. In this video, we're going to learn how to crochet this beautiful Suzette stitch. Now, we've explored this stitch a little bit. This is my Suzette stitch dishcloth that we made together not too long ago. I shared this pattern. I also have a beautiful hat pattern that I used this stitch, but I had a couple people asking for an actual stitch tutorial for the Suzette stitch. So we're going to do that today. Now, the links to this dishcloth pattern and the hat pattern that I mentioned can be found below also if you want to jump into a project. But today I'm just going to use a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook and just some cotton dishcloth yarn like I used here. Now our stitch multiple, this can be scaled in any size. Our stitch multiple is any even number. So for this one, I picked a specific width and went with that. We're going to do a chain 16 to learn this stitch, okay? So I'm going to zoom way in so you can see. And again, I'm using a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook for this. So we're going to do a chain 16, but you can use any even number you like. Before we begin, be sure and hit that subscribe button to get all the latest Fiberflux video updates. Okay, so let's get started. Now, the Suzette stitch is worked in 2 rows. We're going to do row 1 to kind of set up the stitches, and then row 2 is the row you repeat for as long as you want. So it's a very easy stitch to kind of memorize too. So we're going to do a chain 16. Again, any even number will work great. So begin by putting a slip knot on your hook. And I'm just going to zoom in just a tiny bit more so you can see. Put a slip knot on your hook. Wrap the yarn around your fingers to make a loop. Bring the yarn behind the loop, reach in with your hook, bring up that loop and tighten. Now we're going to do 16 chains. So to make a chain, wrap the yarn around the hook and bring it through the loop. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. I just picked kind of a random number to give us a little swatch, okay? We're just going to be making a little practice swatch, okay? Okay, so for row 1, what we're going to do is work a single crochet and a double crochet in the second chain from our hook. The loop here does not count. Also, as a side note, if you go over to the blog, if you need to reference back to this later, the link is below. You can see the full photo tutorial for this as well. Some people like a photo tutorial to kind of accompany this. So in the second chain from the hook, again, this loop here does not count. We're going to go 1 and 2. And we're going to work a single crochet and a double crochet into that chain. So to make a single crochet, we're going to insert the hook into that chain and bring up a loop. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through both loops. Then in that same chain, we're going to work a double crochet. Wrap the yarn around the hook, insert it into that same chain and bring up a loop. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the next 2 loops, and that's it. So then what we're going to do for the whole rest of these chains is the same sequence. So let's skip a chain, and then in the next chain, we're going to do the same thing. So work a single crochet into that chain, and then in the same chain, work a double crochet. All right, and we're just going to continue this all the way across, okay? Skip the next chain. In the chain after that, work a single crochet and a double crochet all in the same chain. Super easy, very easy to kind of get going with it once you've learned it, okay? Again, skip the next chain. In the chain after that, work a single crochet and in the same chain, work a double crochet. Skip the next chain. In the chain after that, work a single crochet. And then in the same chain, work a double crochet, just like that. Super easy. Skip the next chain. In the chain after that, work a single crochet. And in the next chain, work a double crochet. Skip the next chain. In the chain after that, work a single crochet and a double crochet, all in the same chain. Now, once you get towards the end of row 1 and you have just 2 chains left here, what we're going to do is skip the next chain, and in that very last chain, this time we're just going to work a single crochet to finish the row, okay? So row 1 is complete. And this is about what it'll look like depending on the number of chains that you use. It might look a little bit longer or shorter, okay? So let's move on to row 2. Now, like I mentioned, row 2 is the row that you will work on and repeat for the rest of your project or swatch or whatever it is you're working on. So if you want to make a very, very, very long scarf, you just keep repeating row 2, okay? All right, so for row 2, what we'll do is we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn our work, okay? And then we're going to work, again, a single crochet and a double crochet, but this time we're going to work it in that center of that little cluster of stitches we made. So let's come in a little bit closer because I want to point out the anatomy of this so you can be able to find it. Okay, if you look at what you've done, you can see this little cluster of stitches is repeated when we did our single crochet and our double crochet. And at the top of that cluster, you can see there's a decorative hole or the stitch at the top. Okay, you can see that little hole at the top. So here's our cluster. You can see that hole at the top, okay? So what we're going to do in each one of those stitches at the top of each one of these clusters is we're going to work a single crochet right into that stitch, and also into that stitch, work a double crochet, okay? Hop over to that next cluster, and you can see that hole at the top, that little stitch. We're going to work, again, a single crochet, and a double crochet right into that stitch, okay? Once you do this a couple of times, the little stitch will seem much clearer and easier to see, okay? Hop over to that next cluster. You can see that little grouping, and right in the middle there is that stitch. Work a single crochet and a double crochet, just like that. And we're just doing this all the way across. In the stitch at the top of the next cluster, single crochet and double crochet. Oops, I picked up both loops there. There we go. Next cluster, work a single crochet and a double crochet. Just like that. Next cluster, single crochet and double crochet. Okay, we're going to keep going to that very last stitch and the same thing. Single crochet and double crochet. Okay, and then in that very last stitch here, you can kind of see it at the end, we're going to work just a single crochet to finish up the row. Okay, so just like that, and that is the Suzette stitch. Now if you keep repeating row 2, let me just zoom out a little bit. If you keep repeating row 2 here, you know, it'll start to, the texture will start to repeat and replicate, okay? And you'll get this lovely texture. So that is how you crochet the Suzette stitch. Now again, using that even number multiple, you can make this as wide as you want and as tall as you want by working more rows. I hope you enjoyed this stitch. And again, check out the patterns if you're ready to jump into a project with the links below. I have some dishcloth patterns and a hat pattern as well. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the subscribe button to get all the latest Fiberflux video updates. Thanks again.